down on them know when he's there, so it's all good.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. And we are getting...
It's live on Facebook, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Here we go.
Now you get me more nervous, Mr. Okay, it's okay.
Okay. No, I was waiting for the notification. We good. It's okay. All right. And okay, perfect. We are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a special edition of Off the Record this evening. We have a wonderful guest, Brother Rudy Muhammad. I want to thank you, Brother Rudy, for taking time out of your busy schedule, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. Brother Rudy, I got a quick question. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming on. Continue to come on, and you also can like and subscribe to this Off the Record on YouTube. Brother Rudy, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
It was 31 years ago, November 1988. Interesting story. My father raised me most of my life, and my mom was not around. So she did 5 years in prison, and I saw her for the first time in 10 years in 1988, early that year. She had a Muslim name, and it kind of intrigued me. So I kind of looked into Islam, and I saw the life of Malcolm X. And from there, I saw a video of the minister doing the Black Agenda. Then I started going to Harlem, looking up Islam. I didn't know the difference between Orthodox and actual Islam itself. So I was in the Orthodox faith for a good 6 months until I found the difference out. But I was really looking for the minister. So I was 16 years old at that time. I'm going to be 48 years old today. So I went to the mosque, and that was all she wrote. Minister Hafiz was speaking at that time. And the captain at that time was Brother Abdul Aziz, who's now the Assistant Supreme Captain in Chicago.
Praise be to Allah. Walaikum salam, Brother Janelle. Walaikum salam, Sister Angie Brunson. Yes, sir. Why did you accept the teachings, though, sir?
I was looking for God, basically, and I was looking for the truth. And from what I heard with the minister, matter of fact, my father was alive at that time. We listened to it together for the first time. The Madison Square Garden tape was 1985. That was my first tape listening to him. So I got intrigued and involved, and I started getting more tapes and started studying more. I was in high school at that time. I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay, excellent, sir. Well, how was it when you were in New York, as far as being, you said Minister Hafiz was speaking, what was it like serving under Minister Conrad?
Well, he was the youth minister at that time in 1989, and then he became the minister in New York at that time. It was very interesting. You know, it was very dynamic. A lot of, they have different ways of teaching, which was really intricate to me as well. But it was interesting. It was an interesting time period. A lot of activity in New York. That was from at that time was a very interesting time.
Okay. Yes, sir. Wonderful. How was it like working with Captain Dennis?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I want to give a shout out to him. He doesn't know how much he played a part in my development. I was very shy at the time, and when he became the captain, he saw something in me that I didn't see within myself. And at that time, I was on a lot of final calls at the time, 300 at the time. And then it really boosted my confidence. And also Minister Hafiz, and also there's another Brother Aziz. He's in South Carolina, big Captain Brother William.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it was a group of us at that time that was really studying. I really learned about the minister a lot. And at that time, he was doing the Stop the Killing tour. So we were doing a lot of traveling. I would cut school to do a lot of details as well, too. As a matter of fact, Dr. Colley was my minister, too, in 1990 as well. He was there for 6 months. As a matter of fact, there's a story. If you have time, there's a story.
But man, it's all on you. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
He inspired me to graduate high school because I didn't want to graduate at that time. You know, when you get into the ranks, you get full of zeal. You don't want to graduate. My aunt bumped into him in Harlem and told him I didn't want to graduate high school. He called me on the phone and said he wanted to speak with me. And at the mosque meeting he was teaching, I finally spoke with him on the phone, and he told me that basically, in order to further our nation, you have to go to college and your family loves you. So he basically made sure that, he said, how's your report card? Don't jive me, man. How's your report card? So he encouraged me to get my high school diploma. And when I showed it to him, he gave me the biggest hug. So that was very interesting. Also, Captain Dennis, he was part of the the team, the diamond with the minister. And he would come to F1 class and tell us different stories about the minister. So all this time between Brother Hafiz, all the captains I was under college, they really prepped me for proper etiquette and how to be around the minister and how to understanding who he is from a divine perspective. And also my studies as well during high school as well. So that prepped me for what I'm doing today, I believe.
Praise be to Allah. I have to follow up with that because it baffles me that in 2019 we are still having these same conversations dealing with young Black men in the ranks, dealing with college. So you're telling me that Dr. Khalid, and the importance of education to further our nation, you're saying that Dr. Khalid told you that it was valuable for you to further your education.
As a matter of fact, Brother Aziz Rollcap told me, you be doing your nation a disservice if you don't go to college. Because right now we're at a point where we need qualified help. The ministry needs qualified help right now. We need nurses, doctors. Matter of fact, I'm about to go to nursing school at the end of the year. So we need qualified help to build a nation. You know, when you build a nation, you need all the brain power to accomplish that goal.
Oh, praise the Lord. Excellent, sir. I'm glad you shared that story with Islam, Sister Naima. And thank you all for watching and tuning in. And shout out to Brother David Ali. You're a real one, bro. Yes, sir. Brother Rudy, I would like to also ask you, what was it like meeting the Most Honorable Min Farrakhan for the first time?
Okay. It was August 1990. The Khalid was the minister at that time. And we did a lot of escorts with him to the airport. You know, I was always in the back diamond and all. But this time, he shook my hand. I was nervous. He shook my hand. I was very happy at that time. It was August of 1990. So that was the first time I met him. First time I shook his hand.
Excellent. Wonderful. Yes, sir. Now, you're saying this is 1990. So this means you were soldiering during the time of the Million Man March?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What was that like in the climate being in New York City?
We were soldiering a lot of papers. I was in Brooklyn at that time. And the brothers from Brooklyn, we came like a week before to help secure the venue. And it was a really beautiful event. I was blessed to be at the front of the Capitol building, overlooking all the Black men that was there. It was 1.5 million that was there. I witnessed that. So it was really a beautiful sight to see.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Yes, sir. And what was your function as far as doing security during the 90s?
Just a regular soldier.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A regular soldier, regular, and I enjoyed that too immensely. So I was I just soldiered. I just wanted to help out. To this very day, I just want to be a helper. That's all I want to be. So.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful. And that has put you in powerful and key positions with your spirit. What about as far as death threats? Have you ever received death threats, or have you ever feared for your life? And if so, how did you overcome that?
I never received death threats at all. Not personally, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Have you ever feared for your life doing security all of these years?
No, because the God is always present. So I never fear for my life. And, I'll pray, I'll sacrifice. Our life and our death is all for the God. So no, I never feared for my life at all.
Wonderful. Yes, sir. Now, during the 1993, when the Malcolm X movie was out and all of the controversy, what was the climate like as far as being in New York City in like the heat of all of that?
Matter of fact, I moved to upstate New York between 1992 and 1994. My mother lived up there and I wanted to reconnect with her. That didn't work out too well. So I got my own place and I started to live with the brothers and I soldiered there between 1994. So the climate there, like Brother Hugh was saying, the minister gave us instructions don't go on the street at nighttime. So we followed his instructions basically to the letter. That was basically it. But it was real popular at that time. The X Factor at that time was popular.
Yes, sir. What about you drilling? You were a drill instructor. I love drill. How did you become a drill instructor, and what was that like, and how did that help prepare you for your function now?
Well, drilling teaches discipline, not just on a physical level, but also a spiritual and mental level. I was always one of the best drillers in New York at that time. And when I went to Brooklyn, I was asked to be the drill instructor for that particular Savior's Day in '96. And that's how that happened. It was interesting, a very interesting time.
Okay, yes, sir. I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank my sister Miriam for her sponsorship of the podcast, ABC I Love Me. I want to thank my brother Rashad and Jamal for street premiere. I also want to make sure that I show everyone my second children's book, Cleopatra. It is on Amazon. Please get this. If you want your business sponsored, please message me, or you can hit me on, I guess, Cash App, J Imagination, if you want your business sponsored on our podcast. Thank you. How did you wind up working so close with the minister in Phoenix?
Interesting story. 13 years ago, I was working. There was a brother that I met, and I was coming up in the ranks. It was a crew of us that read Brother Jabril's writings, tapes, and also Mother Tanetta, and also the minister, of course. I visited Brother Jabril for the first time in 2002. And I was working with him selling his tapes. And then one day I was with Dr. Bettina and Brother Jabril, and I was thinking about getting a security company in New York. And then Dr. Bettina told me, at the time, she was trying to get a naturopathic center. So she asked me, why don't you just move to Phoenix and then branch up and go to New York? So I thought about Phoenix, and then my family at that time, I took them to Phoenix. And I thought it was a good move to get out of New York and then start fresh. I knew I was always fascinated with Phoenix at the National House since I came into the nation, and so I decided to move to Phoenix. So I started doing security there in Phoenix, and then I got worked for the Department of Corrections. I was corrections officer for 2 years. And I lived across the street from the National House. I moved there. That's an interesting story too as well. So when I moved there, I was running corrections. I told the brothers across the street who was working there, I'm available. If you need my help, let me know. Then I heard that the minister dismissed the brother that was working there. And there was a group of us that was volunteering there. Good 10, 15 of us that was volunteering there around the clock. Since I was across the street, I have easy access to the palace. So, before mentioning the palace, I want to give a special recognition to Brother Abdul Wali Muhammad, Emeritus Captain and Wali Muhammad from Los Angeles, California. I cannot mention the palace and the National House when I'm mentioning him, because if it wasn't for him, there would be no way at all I would have been close to my minister like that. So I want to give a shout out to him. May Allah be pleased with him, because I really appreciate what he did. I have enough, one of the greatest honors in my life to work presently at the National House in Phoenix. This was in 2007 when I started working at the National House in Phoenix. And then from there, it was 15 of us, and then it went down to me and Brother Duncan, who works there now as well. And the minister saw our work, and he personally hired myself and Brother Duncan under Brother Wali. And now Wali's son, now Ali, works with us now too as well.
Praise be to Allah.
You know him very well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm very familiar with Ali.
Yes, sir. So it was a sacrifice. Before then, before I held the post, I held post outside by myself for hours. With no car. I would live on the other side of town, take the bus, go to work, hold the National House. So I made a sacrifice for a good year. And then, like Brother Sultan was saying in your interview, I was just happy to be at the right place at the right time. And the God just allowed me to be at the right place at the right time.
Praise be to Allah. And I want to thank you, and on behalf of my family, thank you and your family for you all sacrifice to protect the Most Honorable Min Farrakhan when he is in Phoenix for the time that he's there. We often talk about the minister, but Mother Farrakhan or his family when they travel, could you please tell us how it is working with Mother Farrakhan?
Oh, wow. I'm glad you asked that question. Some of us, due to circumstances, didn't have the pleasure of having a mother in our life or a father. So Mother Farrakhan, when we met, I started securing her, and instantly we have a bond with each other. And she's like the female version of the minister. So the first year we met, she asked me to secure at the Children's Village on Savior's Day. So ever since then, every year I've been securing it there. But for her family, a lot, I guess they're my family. So when you're around that close proximity with them, it's like you're part of the family. When he's in Phoenix, he comes in to relax.
Yes, sir.
It's home. And it's also the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it's much more sacred to him too as well. So you're around the staff, the team, I'm part of his staff in Phoenix, and to this very day, I'm very honored to have that position. Sometimes I even pinch myself to a point where I get frightened because knowing who the minister is, it's such an honor to work there. Mother Farrakhan is very genuine. She's like my mother. She's like my mother. And I can say this with all, with no hesitation. The minister's the same way in private as he is in public. Very humble, very funny. But to me, for what I've seen, and due to privacy, I don't want to dig into a lot of details, but I've seen a lot. Honorable Louis Farrakhan is an understatement from my vantage point. He takes care of so many people. He's done so much for so many people. And from what I've seen, Honorable Louis Farrakhan is an understatement. He's more to me.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Wonderful. Speaking of what you've seen, has there ever been anything that the minister has told you, advice that he's given you to help you just keep going through all of these years that he's just said, like, one-on-one with yourself?
Oh, wow. To be honest, when he's around, I'm kind of nervous. I'm always nervous around him. So I don't put myself in a position I'm going to say with him because he comes here to relax. I want him to have his privacy when he's there. But we've talked a couple of times. Matter of fact, one time when I was going to nursing school, I took a little time off from the palace because I wanted to go to nursing school. And he agreed with it. And he told me to go to nursing school, told me to go to school. Right back. Because he said we need nurses in our nation. Yes, it's funny because when I was doing my prereqs in the nursing program, he asked me what subjects I was taking. And I taught him math and biology. And I read Closing the Gap. He took those same subjects in high school. So it was very, very, very interesting. And also, speaking of Closing the Gap, before he ever comes to the city to stay for that time before Savior's Day, I always read Close to the Gap to get into the right frame of mind and spirit, because being physically close around him is not being close around him.
Yes, sir.
Being close around him is having his heart, his mind, and his spirit, which is the spirit of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So being around water doesn't make you clean.
Yes, sir.
So for what I've seen, he's very spiritual. He's very quiet. He's very private. Always on the go, always in meetings. But he relaxes more here in Phoenix, and it's just such an honor to be there around him.
Wonderful. May Allah bless you to continue to serve him and his family and our nation as well. What advice would you give to future husbands, sir?
Ooh. That's a good question. Be a provider. Have a beautiful, be friends with your wife, and always listen to truth, because truth is the boss of your household. So it's not, even though we're men, we're provider, but truth is the boss. So if she's speaking truth, we have to listen to it. And I'm blessed to have a beautiful wife with me right now as well. So very, very blessed.
Yes, sir. Excellent. Okay. What advice would you give to future fathers?
Ooh. Be a good example. Be a good example, and stay in your children's lives, and be a good example. The best way to teach anybody is by your example.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, sir. Now, Brother Rudy, and thank you all for watching. I always ask the guests, what do you want your legacy to be?
Legacy. When you use the word legacy, I don't know. I'm just a brother.
Okay.
A brother and a servant on the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Just be a brother, just be a beautiful human being, being good and kind to everybody, and just being a servant of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. So I'm just thankful and honored to be in this position at the National House in Phoenix. And all the believers should come and visit too as well. It's your home. And I tell you, everything that's in that house is from the minister. From the maintaining of the house, everything. That's just the Phoenix house. I mean, talking about Chicago and the farm and other places, the mosque and school, but he's not a robber. Everything comes out of his pocket. And I've seen him have dinner with people that don't even like him at all. So like I said, and he's taking care of so many people, so many people. The stories that I hear, how many, you know, so he's so much misunderstood. He's a genuine, beautiful human being.
Yes, sir.
Very genuine, beautiful human being, and I'm proud to say that he's my father, and Mother Farrakhan, that's my actual mother.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. When you what do you want to do with your when you graduate from nursing? Where do you want to how do you want to use that degree?
Well,
what do you do?
I would like to be a floor nurse, but I want to get into business with a matter of fact, there's a brother right now that's a nurse. I want to get into business with him as far as nurse is concerned. You know, our teachers do for self.
Yes, sir.
So I want to start some kind of a business. I'm not sure yet what it's going to be like, but when I become a nurse, I would like to help our communities out as well. And also help our nation, of course, as well.
Excellent. Well, Brother Rudy, you've known me longer than I've known you, but ever since I've known you, you've been a very sincere and just a nice person to me and my family. I want to thank you, Brother Rudy, for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us a look on what it's like to work from the West Coast perspective when the minister goes out to Phoenix before, you know, Savior's Day. I'm just humbled that that you would take time out of your busy schedule, and thank you for showing us the light of the minister in the more relaxed and private moments of him and his family, sir.
And also want to say to you, Brother Josh, what you're doing is so magnificent, bro. That's the only reason why I decided to do this interview, because usually I'm very private. I don't talk about my time with the minister with hardly anybody, but I got inspired with all the interviews that you did with people that I knew. And what you're doing is going to benefit generations down the line, because us testifying of who he really is, because people don't really understand the minister at all. They really don't.
Yes, sir.
From a divine perspective, I've seen sometimes also we see his humanity and lose sight of his divinity.
Yes, sir. Actual fact.
Because he does normal things as a human being, but he's a divine human being as well.
Actual fact.
And also, it gives me the understanding that I don't have to be this holier than thou person. I can just be myself.
Yes, sir. You know? Yes, sir.
So his example for what I've seen, and I've seen, you know, it's been 13 years since 13 years since I've been at the palace. Is really, I'm so surprised I'm still there, and very surprised. I'm still pinching myself sometimes too as well. And yes, also, he dealt with, well, you mentioned a conversation with the minister. He dealt with trust. Trust is earned, you know. So for him to trust me, to be around him like that, I remember Don Enoch saying that, what good is it for us to be around him and for us to not talk about him to others? It's vanity. You know, it's really vanity. So a lot of people really don't understand him at all. And when you read Closing the Gap, it talks about his heart, but to see it physically, you know, being in the ranks is one thing and securing him in different venues, but to be physically around him, to also see him from a divine perspective and a humanity perspective is beautiful. He's very funny.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, and also the rest of the staff, who I love very much, they're like my brothers. You know, all the brothers on the team.
Yes, sir.
The cooks, everybody that's involved, they're like my brothers and sisters, because when he's there for that period of time, he's there for good two months. And it's like we're all living together at that time. So we see him in different moments too as well. You know, you see him angry, you see him upset, you see him happy. So he's at his home. So I believe I want to thank all the brothers that trained me, from Brother Hafiz, both Aziz's, Khalid, Conrad. I used to drive around Barry Hankerson, R. Kelly's manager, all this stuff, and also Benjamin Chavis. I drove him and his family. All that prepared me for what I'm doing right now, being around the minister like this. And I want to give the greetings to him, the minister and his family as well. And I want to thank him, let him know that I love him very much as well.
Praise be to Allah. Well, we're definitely going to put this on YouTube and hope to continue to inspire people to tell their personal testimony on working with the man of God. Thank you very much, Brother Rudy.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Love you, man.
Love you more, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for watching.